Hello, this is Alex Calvo Garcia. You're listening to the Iron Hour podcast.
Hey up, Iron fans, and thanks for joining us once again on this episode of the Iron Hour podcast. I'm back this week. It's Barrett in the hot seat hosting your regular episode of the Iron Hour podcast. Now, this, of course, coming in the wake of the FA Cup exit away at Blackpool, and a very valiant effort from the boys that one was, and also the postponed game against Rochdale on Tuesday night, the game that never happened, as it were. Of course, we wait for feedback from the club and information on when the rearranged fixture will be. And everybody at the Iron Hour podcast would, of course, like to extend our best wishes to Jonathan Gjoshe on, a really terrible incident that happened on Saturday. Great to see he's doing well and recovering. And, of course, we hope to see him back in claret and blue as soon as we can. Joining me this week is none other than Timu, Thurman's dad. It's Gareth Holt, aka Iron Army. Thank you for joining us, guys. And I'll just give a shout out to our sponsors too. Of course, Best Blanks Wholesale, Hole in the Wand, No Film Videography and Photography, and AC Videography. And of course, we are bringing you this podcast in association with Talk Sport. Whether you are listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we are going to hear the thoughts now of Iron Army himself. Gaz, let's talk first about Jonathan and the incident that happened on Saturday, following, of course, the conclusion of the game. I know he wasn't involved in the squad, but first of all, I guess really good to see he's doing well.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, when it came out, it was a bit of a shock to read that he'd been on the train and been injured. So I guess when you look back at it, it could have been a lot worse for those on the train in some respects. And also as well, I feel that not taken away from him being on the train, but if Scunthorpe were at home, I feel there could have been a few Scunthorpe fans on that train as well. So, you don't know when things are going to happen, but, he's on the mend, which is good news. And like you say, hopefully we see him back in a Scunthorpe shirt soon. And I'm sure Bottisford wants him in a Bottisford shirt as well.
Of course. Yeah, and great to see the fundraiser being set up as well. Yeah. We would implore anybody who can to donate to that. Really great idea from the lads at Brew. So, fair play to them. And if you can donate, we absolutely implore you to do so if you can. And, hopefully the club will look after him. I know the fans, of course, will look after him. As I say, just really good to see the football community, the Scunthorpe United community getting behind Jonathan as much as we can. So, right, let's put up in that one. Let's talk about the football. Away at Blackpool on Saturday. 1-0 defeat against EFL opposition. Really good EFL opposition as well. I know this season maybe hasn't gone so well for them, Gaz, but it's a very prestigious team. Very well drilled as well on Saturday. And a fantastic performance, I thought, from the lads in claret and blue. Or the lads in black. The lads in black, as it was on Saturday.
Yes. It was a really good performance. Just a shame we couldn't get that goal to even take it to extra time. I thought the effort and commitment they put in after that first 20 minutes or so, which just seemed to just give Blackpool a bit of respect, too much respect, I thought. But yeah, after that, it was he's just willing the ball to go in. There were 1,400 plus Scunthorpe fans there who all wanted to see a goal to celebrate on the seaside, as it were. And it just never came, but not for want of trying.
Well, did it come?
Yes.
Let's talk about that, Gaz. Did the goal come? I mean,
it did.
Split second decision. I know we can all stop stills and have a look, but he's onside. Whitehall's onside, isn't he?
He is. He is onside. From that still that's been shared around media, he's definitely onside. But I think, as you say, it's a split second decision, and it's easy to freeze frame a still and pull it out. But the linesman at the time, he just seen what's in front of him, and if their players move out as the ball's kicked, he's just not seeing it. It makes obviously Whitehall looks well offside when that happens, but yeah, it's one of those ones that could have been.
Woulda, shoulda, as somebody once said, if buts and candy nuts. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes, I'm afraid, guys. Let's talk about the game in a little bit more detail. We speculated in the build-up to the game about how Butler might set up his team, whether he would opt for the 5 at the back with them being EFL opposition. In the end, it was a bit of a routine tactical setup.
Yeah, it was. I think at times Blackpool went 5 at the back. especially in the second half, and we were getting on top. But yeah, it was just that, like you say, a routine set up and something that's worked well. So why change it? Regardless of who we're playing, we know how to play to our strengths. And I think that's what it was on Saturday as well. We played to our strengths. Just wasn't to be. And I think as well, if Steve Bruce has still been in charge at Blackpool, we'd have got the result.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel that. Ian Everett's come in and got into them and drilled them and talked to them a lot more, it seems, listening to some of their player interviews. So I think that was the big change. They got them the result, unfortunately.
Let's talk about a player. Brandon Horton, or as Marco would probably call him, Tyler Horton. Been very impressive for Scunthorpe this season, and again another really good performance against Blackpool at the weekend.
Yeah, no, he's done well. He's moved into the middle through necessity, really. So, and he put in a good showing once again. I think there's one mistake that I could pick up on where him and Mahady got a little confused, I think, and the ball dropped to them, and they had a chance. But other than that, it was class again. It's just showing how versatile he is if we need him to be.
Right.
Played really well.
You talked about Rory Mahady.
Yep.
Let's talk about another Rory. Rory. This, of course, we're 4 or 5 days, almost a week actually, in fact, since York recalled Rory Watson. We have read a few little pieces from the excerpt of the interview that Stuart Maynard, not Nicky Maynard, Stuart Maynard said on BBC Radio York regarding the recalling of Rory Watson. And, to be fair to him, he was quite honest. He said the reason is basically we didn't expect Scunthorpe to get off to such a flyer, and they did. And why would we strengthen rival opposition? And to be fair, mate, two things there. One, he wasn't the manager when Rory was sent out on loan. Of course, came in after the season started. This point one. Point two, I know there'll be some sour grapes from Scunny fans, but he's not a Scunthorpe United player. He's a York City player, and it's their prerogative to do whatever they wish with their play. If we wanted Rory Watson in the summer, we should have tried to get him on a permanent, and we did. So really and truthfully, from me, there's no complaints. You get a lone goalkeeper, you get a lone player. That's always the risk, right?
Yeah, of course it is. Like you say, it's not our player. So whatever club, whoever you've loaned a player from can just turn around and say, right, we want that player back, regardless of the situation. Unfortunately for York, they're below us. They see us as a threat, and they're going to try and do everything to derail that threat. So, I guess they've left Billy Chadwick because he's not really getting that much game time. They didn't want him playing against Blackpool either, though, just because they didn't want him cup-tied, which made me think...
What do you read into that? Because they allowed Watson to play in the FA Cup fixture against Kings Lynn. Now, there's a little bit of confusion as to whether the preliminary rounds actually count as with regards to the FA Cup tying. I'm still a little bit unsure. If you believe AI would have you believe that actually anything prior to the first round doesn't count as a cup tie. I haven't been able to verify that, but interesting that they didn't have any issues with Watson in the Kings Lynn game. But again, I don't think Chadwick featured, did he?
No, I don't think he did. No, he never. I thought when I read that they didn't want him playing against Blackpool, I did wonder if that was in case they sold him to somebody else, that he's not cup tied. There's still a possibility that he could be sold on. Is it January?
Well, it is if he goes to a Football League club.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting a Football League club's coming in for Billy Chadwick?
Well, no, anyone could come in for him, couldn't they? But it's just if he's not cup tied, that's an extra thing for a club to look at and think, he can play for us in the cup as well. And he's not just in the league season. So, but yeah, it was just unfortunate. The thing is that's really unfortunate for Rory Watson as well is that he's not going to feature. He's just going to be sat watching from the stands ultimately. Yeah. Which is, it's no good for him. And if York want to be like that, then that's, as you say, their prerogative. But it's not good for the player, really, when he could be playing.
Do you think that save against Aldershot was kind of like the final nail in the coffin? Because you look at that save on its own and you think, blimey, that is a hell of a save. And if you're a York fan and you're letting in a few dubious goals, which they have this season, even if you think Harrison Mailer is the better goalkeeper, you're going to look at that and go, "What the hell are we doing here?"
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I just think there's been other saves as well, but then there's been mistakes. Let's look at Forest Green. It's like swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
He was man of the match against Forest Green, though, buddy.
Yeah, no, granted, but that ball was still dropped,
Yeah.
and they scored from it. So it swings and roundabouts in that respect. But I just think, as a York fan, as any fan, if you're seeing a team that's above you and you've got a player on loan to that team that's playing week in, week out, you're going to be thinking, what are we doing? Why is he there? It's like Jeff King. I think he's at Boreham Wood, isn't he?
He is, mate. Yeah,
playing as well, and they're a threat. They're above York. So why hasn't he been recalled?
Yeah.
It's a strange one.
What do you think the club's play will be now with regards to the goalkeeper situation? Because we have extended the loan of Rory Mahady, but we know he's been called up now for international duty for the Scotland under-21s. If a better team, let's be honest, if a League Two club offers Leeds his contract for the rest of the season on loan, I'm almost certain they would accept that. We're in a vulnerable position again, which we have been all season with keepers, and you managed to get by and navigate. I think Butler's done a really good job, actually, of navigating the situation as best he can. What happens from here? Because let's just review the situation. With Mason Campbell, who's injured for an unspecified period of time. We're hearing unofficial reports about the length of that injury. The club line at the moment is he'll be back within, I think, a month or something, is what we've been told. Again, we don't know, but there's rumours circulating or flying around with regarding that. It'd be wrong to comment, but there's that. He's certainly not available in the short term. Rory Mahady is the goalkeeper that's had his loan extended. He's now played for us twice. Looks really impressive in both games. I only conceded the one goal, but again, there's a risk. There's a risk because he's on loan, and there's also the risk because Scotland may want him more for their international games. And of course, there's no international break in National League. Let me tell you that for certain, guys. So what would you do? Would you look to bring in a permanent keeper?
I think we have to. We have to look to bring in a keeper. Whether that's, you say, permanent, would we go down the loan route again, which once again puts you in jeopardy? Or would it be a loan route from somebody that's not in National League? It's got to be from a club somewhere else for that to happen.
If we go down that loan route again, you're looking at the likes of Leeds, aren't you? You're looking at a top-end Championship League One club. Yeah. Otherwise, they'll just recall him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it just depends where you're looking as to what you want, or do we sign somebody? But it's having the funds to sign somebody from somewhere and who's out there, It's a tough one, and I won't want to be Andy Butler right now because whatever he does, he gets judged on.
I'm just trying to frantically, I have a keeper in mind, and I'm just trying to frantically see whether he's featured this season. And my internet, my phone's gone down. I'll tell you now, I'm trying to look at Mark Howard and just have a conversation on the fly about Mark Howard because, of course, I know he is a keeper that played at Scunthorpe and looked impressive. Now, just looking here, so looks like he's played 2 league games for Salford so far this season, which is an interesting one. I'm trying to get a little bit more information on that. So, Gareth, feel free to just ad hoc, improvise, talk to me a little bit more about the goal.
I was just going to ask, I was thinking about it, and it's nothing to do with keepers, but I was thinking, have you taken any of the clothes to America other than Scunthorpe shirts? I was just wondering. But also, while we're on the topic of Scunthorpe shirts, Marco's out in Scotter tonight at the Sun and Anchor with his pizza van, and he's put an offer on for 20% off for anyone in Scunthorpe shirts.
Yeah.
So, which is really, really good of him. And hopefully a few Scunthorpe fans have made it down there and enjoyed his pizzas.
Right, Mark Howard. Yeah. He's played twice so far this season for Salford, conceded 3 goals. He's obviously mainly been the second choice goalkeeper. Is he, maybe not necessarily him, but he certainly is the one I'd be looking at, but is he the kind of calibre? Is that what you're looking at, an experienced older keeper, maybe get on a couple of months?
Yes, we are looking at that calibre. We need somebody experienced, but then you say that, and then we've loaned Rory Mahady. Mahady, how are we going to say it? He's not had any football league experience.
Yeah.
He's he looked really good, really confident in what he does. So do we need the experience in some respects, or is there somebody else out there like Mahady who can come in and do a job.
Yeah.
Well, I can see you smiling, but I don't know what the pronunciation is myself.
I mean, you've had 4 goes at that. I'm going to start calling you Marco. I'm surprised you didn't call him Tyler Mahady. So, right, we've talked about the goalkeeper situation. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about an article that Max Bell, our very own Max Bell, did this week. A really good one, actually, talking about, again, him explaining York's position and saying, perfectly legitimate, we need to be a little bit more ruthless when it comes to January. Let's look at some of the players we've got in and around our squad and let's have a conversation around them. As you know, probably Max Brogan's biggest fan sat over here right now in the States, in me. I think he is absolutely warranted and worthy of an opportunity. I look at Joe Rowley last season, and I might get this slightly wrong, but don't think he started any of the first 23 league games. He certainly didn't start many. Waited for his opportunity, got his opportunity, and has never looked back. Has been an integral part of our squad from that point onwards. Was one of the main factors in our promotion. I truly believe it's a very similar story for Max Brogan. I think if he just gets that chance, if he gets a run of games, I just think I can see him taking off. You know,
is he going to get that chance though? That's the thing, isn't it?
With Zane coming in, I'm looking at him, probably not, right? So then what do? You can't tie up a young kid if you're not going to play him.
No, he needs to be playing football as well. You know, he needs that experience, and I'm sure it's great being a footballer. You know, but when you're not playing football, it's rubbish. It's got to be rubbish. Sat watching, what if I'd have done this, I'd have done that. You know. So yeah, he needs to be playing, but it's not just him that's in and around the team either. You know, and I think that article Max put, you know, we do need to be ruthless with what we've got. And I think me and Marco were talking when we played, who did we play last? Middlesbrough in the Under-21 Cup. And we were saying that we think that because we're in that cup, we've got the players, we've not sent anyone back or loaned anyone out. And it's a chance for us to use the players and not the first team players as such, just so they're rested with the schedule we've been on. And that possibly after the Newcastle game, in that, then we'll see some movement of players getting sent back that are on loan, or just players getting sent out on loan, or possibly sold.
Yeah, no, I can see that happening. Okay, right, Iron fans, let's have our usual Spy in the Camp segment. A little of a role reversal.
Hello and welcome to another mini match day episode from us here at the Glovers Cast. This is Foot in the Opposition Camp. I am Ben, and it is all forward to Glanford Park, Scunthorpe this Saturday afternoon, and I'm delighted to say that I've got a fellow Ben with me from the Iron Hour podcast, writes for the site, big Scunthorpe fan. It's another Ben. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm not so bad, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. I imagine, as we sit here now and we're chatting, Scunthorpe sitting in 4th place in the table, 33 points already in the bag. It must feel quite good to be an Iron fan right now.
100%. Far and away exceeded definitely my own expectations this season. And a lot of the fan bases was just... There was a few that spoke about maybe nicking in the playoffs or finishing up a mid-table. But I think for the majority, it was just, it's our first season at this level. Let's consolidate and see how we go. But to be right up there in the mix, it's a really, really positive start.
Those regional divs, if they don't get you, you can be stuck there for a while. It took you a couple of goes, didn't it? But it must have been worth it.
It did, yeah. A lot of heartbreak in the end, losing a playoff semi-final to one of our local rivals, Boston. Really difficult, but kind of feels like you go through that really difficult period of time. But if the club at the moment, how it feels probably more connected than ever. So it feels like a really good, prominent moment in our time period right now, and it's nice that we are flying high at the moment.
Before a ball was kicked then, you talked about how different supporters felt maybe differently about the season going in, but momentum's a funny thing in football, and obviously Scunthorpe are coming off the back of a winning season. What personally for you were your thoughts about the season coming in, because it is such a competitive division this year?
Yeah, being really, really honest, it was just be above the dotted line. It really was just, I mean, we saw how it was when we was in there 3 seasons ago. And I think now we've already got, or we're close to how many points we got the whole season. So that's just an example of how good the start has been and how poor we were that season. So we got a taste of that one season that we've been at this level of how difficult it was then. And as you say, there's some really good teams at this level, some really big clubs still. There's not many in there that haven't had Football League experiences or haven't been really close to the top end of the table at this level. So, yeah, it's a really competitive division. So, for where we are now, I'm really, really happy with that.
I was looking through some of the recent lineups, and forgive me if I'm wrong here, but on the face of it, there's not been a massive amount of turnover. There's been a few additions, but actually, the main players, the bulk, the core of your group, were with you in the National League North.
Yeah, we did. I think that's a really, as you spoke about momentum in football and things like that, if you can keep a real core of a squad together, I think if it's a winning squad, it can be really important. I know we've gone up a step, and sometimes for some players that step is too difficult, and it's too much, but we've kept the core of a winning squad together and they're doing really well with some really good additions in there as well. Ollie Ewan in particular, he's a centre midfielder that we picked up that was on loan at Buxton last year. He was released from Leicester and he's a really good player. I'm sure you'll pick him out on Saturday straight away as, wow, he looks like a good player. You see him when he gets on the ball, he can dictate the course of the game. He's got quality to dip in and out. He's been a really, really good addition to the squad this season.
It's also worth noting, one of the things I was looking for was just how many different players you've got who are knocking on fours, fives, and sixes for goals. You've got Whitehall on, I think, 8 in the league alone. Roberts has got a handful. You've got Howell that's got a handful. I can only compare to us, really. We've got Marias on 4, and then the rest are sort of on 2s and 3s. But sharing the goals around and the creation of the goals has been a real highlight, a real positive of what you guys have achieved so far.
Yeah, you always want someone to come and get 20, 25 a season, don't you? Definitely. But if you can share them around the team and if they're coming from different areas of the pitch, it gives you that little bit more. Well, a goal can come when we need it, not from just one person. It can come from a different area of the pitch.
I think it's very easy when sort of we've had chats about Regan Linney, about Imani Diasaruve, about Ollie Pearce in this division, and you can highlight those standout players within a group. And actually, one of the positive things we did against Carlisle was actually kept Regan Linney quiet for the most part, and that affected Carlisle, and we got a point out of it. I think, and again, you might be a good offer of an opinion here, is it's no good just keeping Whitehall quiet on Saturday, because if Whitehall doesn't get you, somebody else will come along as well. Does that give you a little bit of an edge over some of the teams in the division?
I think so, because there's quality, especially in the attacking phase of our team. Like you say, Whitehall, when you see him on Saturday, you'll probably hate his guts, especially for that 90 minutes, because he is one of those that if he's on your team, you absolutely love him to bits. If he's against you, I think every club up and down the country would hate him. And he can occupy defenders, and then that creates space out wide for the real quality that we've got on the right hand side. Cal Roberts, who comes in on his left foot and torments defenders at times. Sometimes he gets, with the step up this year, you can definitely see that there is more quality to defend and keep him quieter more often. But like I say, there's quality in other areas of the pitch as well, where we've just got Sellers Fleming on loan from Hull, who's been with us for the last maybe 2 months, and he was at the club when he was a young lad. He was 16. Had a little bit of a taste in the National League when we were first in there, but he's come back now and he's matured, he's grown, and he looks a really, really talented player, and he didn't look out of place against the League One side in the FA Cup on Saturday.
Let's talk a little bit about the recent form. We'll talk about that FA Cup game. Obviously, we decided to have the weekend off. Don't worry about it; it's fine. Looking at the numbers and the stats and the on paper stuff, an early-ish goal from Blackpool, but Scunthorpe gave every bit as good as they've got. On another day, could you have got an equaliser? Did you deserve an equaliser?
Um, we definitely created far and away enough chances. It's difficult. You come away from it as a National League side against a League One side and go, we've had a really good go at it. You couldn't be any more prouder of the boys. But then you think, on the other hand, we could have definitely at least taken to extra time. We could have won it in 90. We had a lot of chances. The goal we conceded was a really poor goal. Um, on the flip side of that, I mean, they caught us on the break a couple of times and missed a couple of chances. It's one of those. If you don't take your chances, you don't win games, isn't it? That's just how it is. Unfortunately, we had a few good chances and we put a really good account of ourselves out there. Just a shame we couldn't nick something.
I wanted to ask specifically about the home form. Glanford Park is a ground that I have great affection for, some wonderful memories, some wonderful games between the two sides, going back way back into our original non-league days or EFL days, certainly in the early 2000s. This season, it's not been boring. 3-2 win over the Middlesbrough Kids, 2-1 win over Aldershot, 4-2 against Kings Lynn, 3-1 against Morecambe. It must be quite exciting to watch those home games.
It can be exciting. It can also it'd also be nice to win 1-0 and keep a clean sheet. We've been conceding similar type goals, crosses to the back post. I don't know if you've ventured over into Scunthorpe United social media or Twitter, and there's always a lot of talk about the goalkeeping situation, which is now another spanner in the works with Rory Watson being recalled.
Mm-hmm.
So we're scoring enough goals, but last season we really prided ourselves on how many clean sheets we kept, and we were really fortunate in having a superb goalkeeper in Ross Fitzsimmons, who's now gone to Northampton in League One, and he's playing in their first team now. So we prided our defence on keeping so many clean sheets. I think it was 27. It's definitely around that ballpark, but we got so many points off the back of the clean sheets. This year it's been different. We've been adaptable. We've been able to score goals and outscore teams, but we've also conceded some.
I was going to ask about the goalkeeper situation. You've preempted me. You can see my scribbled notes, I'm sure. Rory Mahady, is that the name I'm trying to get right? Played in the
Yes,
FA
well,
Cup.
that's how I say it. So if not, we're both wrong.
Played in the FA Cup against Blackpool. If the numbers are right, the very next day played for Leeds Kids against Brighton's 21s. Is he now is he a long-term option, or is he just someone that had to fill a gap whilst you were looking for a replacement?
So when we played York, we got him on an emergency loan then. I think it's just one of those 7-day
Yep.
emergency loans. And he had an outstanding game in that game as well. Because obviously Rory Watson was on loan from York. That's why we had to get the emergency keeper, and our other keeper was injured. He had a really good game that game. And then kind of he went back. And there was maybe 3 or 4 games in between, maybe a few more. And then Rory Watson was recalled by York the day before the game on Saturday. So Mahady played in that game and again was very good. I believe it's only an initial month loan, but the goalkeeping situation has been spoken about a lot this season. If there's been any negativity around, it's been either the pitch or that. So I don't think it's a long-term replacement. I think Andy Butler before the start of the season committed to Mason Campbell as his number one, who's our other keeper who's been injured. Initially, it was only for 2 weeks, and then it's been 2 months now, I think. So, yeah, not sure it's a definite replacement, but time will tell.
What's wrong with your pitch?
Oh, it's a bit of a mess.
Oh no, not. Is it a Rochdale mess? Is it an old Halifax mess? How much of a mess are we talking?
So I'm no groundsman. I might live in Lincolnshire, but I am no groundsman. I believe there's something to do with the roots haven't grown far enough down, and the pitch is tearing up quite a lot. When you first get in, usually you go, oh, it looks all right, and then maybe after about 10 minutes, it gets tore up a little bit, and yeah, a few players slipping over and things. So you will see on Saturday, it doesn't take long to caught up.
Okay. We'll have to maybe think about getting that ball in the air. Some serious news, unfortunately, from Scunthorpe this week. I wonder if you could update us as Yeovil fans. A Scunthorpe United player, and apologies if I'm going to butcher this surname as well. Jonathan, I'm going to go with just simply Gosh. Gyosh.
If honest, again, I'm not 100% sure. I say Gjoshe,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure.
He was involved in a horrific incident on a train that obviously news spread far and wide. He has non-life-threatening injuries. It was an arm injury, but some positive news today that he is looking like he's going to be on the mend. How much had he been involved? Am I right thinking he was on non-contract terms, but he was still a player?
Yeah, it's one of those where he dual registered. I think he was
I
dual
see.
registered at Botsford Town. I think it was. He was a local club to us. Yeah, it's really shocking news.
Mm,
I mean, just the story in itself is shocking, and then you see it when it's close to home. Really, one of our players. You don't wish that on anybody, or yeah, it's so to see that news was deeply shocking, and we send our best to
yeah.
to John.
Um, Supporters rallied together have raised thousands of pounds for him in his recovery. So yeah, we absolutely join you with wishing him all the best with his recovery. Let's talk a little bit about the game Saturday, then, if I can, just to kind of wrap things up here. I am hoping for a response from Yeovil. We have had some pretty poor recent outings. Got walloped by Rochdale, by Boreham Wood, and Wealdstone turned us over in midweek. So I'm expecting us to come out and have a little bit of a reaction. I imagine confidence is pretty high, though, from your camp that no matter who comes to Glanford Park, you'd fancy yourselves to win.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the attitude where we are sat in the table at the moment. Form doesn't really lie, does it? So yeah, we've just got to come out, give the account of ourselves that we did on Saturday, and if we can play anywhere near that, and if we can put the chances away, then there should be no problems with us.
And you didn't have a midweek game, did you? Because Rochdale's pitch is even worse than yours.
No, unfortunately we didn't. I was ready to make the trip, but yeah, it was postponed at 2 o'clock, so we didn't.
Oof.
I didn't actually set off, which was nice.
Still, that's too late to be calling that kind of stuff off it, I'm afraid. I really appreciate you taking the time, Ben, to chat to us. We always end these little mini episodes. We don't do proper previews. We don't do predictions or anything like that. We ask the same three questions of every single person that joins us for this mini episode. The first one, I think you'll find this very, very easy. Do you think Scunthorpe United score on Saturday afternoon?
Yes,
Everyone says that. Question number two. Do you think Yeovil Town score on Saturday afternoon?
yes,
Oh, you said that quickly. Why'd you say that quickly?
because we concede goals as well as score goals.
Okay, I like your style. Okay, me and you are going to be friends, I can tell. And third and finally, come 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon when the team sheets are released, what name will appear on the team sheet on Scunthorpe's side that makes the Yeovil Town fans in the away end say, oh, for Jesus Christ, he's playing, and why?
Go again with Danny White. Just because after 90 minutes you'll hate him.
Is it a physical thing? Does he rough and tumble? Does he get in people's faces? Is it just sheer quality?
Yeah, he's definitely got quality, but he definitely mixes in a bit of the antics there. There was a couple of seasons ago where he'd just constantly nick the goalkeeper's water bottle and drink it and lob it over the. Yeah, he's just a.
A love to hate kind of character.
Oh yeah, we love him. You'll hate him, and it's every club. Every club will hate him, and if he ever left Scunny and played against Scunny, would probably end up hating him. So
I'm
that
I'm
kind of character.
I'm here for a little bit of poop housery. I don't mind it in little bits. If he misses a penalty or skies one, I don't really mind. Is it fair to say that we both share an immense amount of love for Mr. Paddy Madden? Let's end on that.
Definitely. I was a bit disappointed that he scored against Gainsborough the other day in the FA Cup, because I wanted to see Gainsborough go through. But yeah, he had some good times for us at a really good period for our club. Promotion in his first season from League Two, although he joined about halfway through the season. Yeah, fantastic player. Good memories.
And we were sat right behind him when he missed the penalty when he played against us. Ben, I appreciate it. Just to add a little bit of context, Ben stepped in at like the last second's notice to chat to us on the Glovers Cast. So genuinely, mate, I really, really, really do appreciate it. I wish you all the best for Saturday. I would not mean it, but after Saturday, you can have as much luck as you like.
Exactly the same for you guys.
Top man. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, I enjoyed that one, Gareth. That was a very good one. Let's talk then. Let's have a look at the Yeovil game ahead on Saturday. First of all, will this one be postponed?
I wouldn't think so. Looking at the weather forecast, it looks reasonable. I don't think they've got any rain, any snow, any ice or anything. So I think the game will be on.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll be on anyway. And
you've just said definitely. You did say definitely, so we will clip that. We'll make sure we get that out on the socials.
It's definitely going to be on. And we're definitely, get this on as well, we're definitely going to win.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm feeling it.
Well, you feel a lot of things, guys.
Both hands here.
Both hands here. Show me your hands. Look into the eyes. Yeah, you're a bit of a handsy guy, aren't you, when it comes to expressing your emotions. Let's talk about Yeovil, a team we've played many times over the years, many times in the Football League, a bit of a history between them. I'm thinking of Paddy Madden being a common player between the two. I can't think there'll be too many. There's not too much which unites the South Coast and North Lincolnshire. There's maybe a little bit, but I look back to some of the games. Well, it's on the south-ish. Is it south?
It's south, but it's not on the coast, is it?
How far from the coast is Cornwall, is it?
No, it's not. Is it? I want to say Somerset.
You know, when we do the Christmas quiz,
probably not Cornwall.
When we do the Christmas, I'll be sure not to have a geography round.
Good.
Yeah, otherwise I think I might be struggling. No, as I was just saying, there's not too much which unites Somerset and North Lincolnshire, as I said, which, I definitely didn't get wrong because Gav definitely hasn't clipped anything out there for me. When you look back over the years, a really good team, a team with a very historic, a very prestigious history. It's great to see us playing them again, but you do get the feeling these two sides should be playing a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, I think you can say that about a lot of sides in the National League, in fairness. But yeah, it's I remember going down there before on a Friday night, I think it was, and watching us play in the freezing cold. There was snow flurries. I remember going there with Max and Jack in the car. It was freezing cold again.
That's a rough
was. I think Max fell asleep, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, we've played them, like you say, several times. I think, like you say, it could be a fixture that's higher up in the leagues, but it's not. So we've got to think about the here and now. And I think that we've got the quality to take the game to them. And I don't think they're doing that great in the league, are they?
No, they're currently in 16th. I mean, just looking at the recent games, they lost to Wealdstone at home 2 days ago on Tuesday night, which obviously not a brilliant result. They did get a good draw against Carlisle on the 25th of October, though. So I guess they could be looking at that. And then, of course, the 3-0 defeat away at Rochdale, which, let's be honest, Scunny could go there and lose 3-0. Rochdale are a fantastic side. Well, no, not been a great start to the season. Where do you think this game will be won and lost?
In the final third. Final third, because if we don't score the goals, then that's what's going to bite us, same as it did on Saturday. It's all right creating all the chances, but we've got to put the ball in the back of the net, and I think that's something that the players need to understand, and I'm sure, they know what to do. They know they need to score goals to win games or get something from a game. So I feel that's something that would have been worked on, possibly, in training. But I think, as long as there's no knocks and injuries from the Blackpool game, there are a few players at the end that looked worn out. And I know Boise took a knock big knock in the game as well. Yeah. So, if we can put a full strength team out as strong as we can, the players that we've got, then we should see this game out. I think we've got the capabilities across the whole pitch.
You talked there about Boise getting a little bit of a knock. Are there any other surprises that you think we might see on Saturday with regards to the lineup?
No, not I can think of. I can't think of anything. I don't know. It depends. Like I say, it depends if there's anyone else picked up anything at the Blackpool game as to whether they're going to feature or not. I don't think anything's come out from the club, but Butler doesn't normally do his interview this early, does he? So maybe he's got something to say. Does his interview with Humberside and stuff. Maybe something will come out then. But like I say, if we can put that same team out as we did against Blackpool, we play that same way, then I believe we will get the 3 points out of the game.
Yes. Do you think we need some defensive cover?
Yes. I would say yes. I think it's great we've got players that can move across into the middle. But all it takes is another injury. Also, if for example, Boyce got injured and we're playing with Starbuck and Horton in the middle, I'm not saying they won't be able to do a job, but
you're asking a lot.
Yeah, you are. And they're both young players as well. They don't have that experience that some of the older heads will have, like Boyce and Evans. So I feel if we had a chance, if we sent some of these players back and got some players out, then hopefully that would free up some money and we'd be able to bring in somebody to cover.
Who knows? We might see Max Brogan play at centre back just like he did against Middlesbrough under 21s.
You never know.
I would be surprised. It has to be said. I would be surprised.
Well, I would, but at least they'll be getting a game.
Yeah, let's have a chat about one last thing before we draw close to this podcast. Dec Howe, I'm again another massive fan of Dec Howe, another player that I've got a lot of belief in. Arguably in recent weeks has maybe not had as much of an opportunity as he would have liked. He certainly got off to a flyer at the start of the season. Do you still think he's going to play a big role in our campaign this season?
I believe so. Yeah, I can't see why he wouldn't. We've got Sellers Fleming till January.
Yeah.
So I know he's on Saturday, Sellers Fleming played, Howe was on the bench. But no, I feel he's still got a big part to play. Maybe he's just that excitement of starting. He was up for it a bit more. I don't know. Maybe teams have watched him and found out about him, see what his game is. And he's just being worked out a bit more, so it's a bit harder for him. But he had a chance at Blackpool near the end and just put it the wrong side of the post with a header. So if that's gone in, then you're not asking me if he's got a part to play really. I think he creates goals as well with the pressing he does. He puts defenders under pressure, midfielders under pressure, and sometimes they lose the ball and it creates chances for us. So he's just a good player, and he's one of them players you want on the pitch, running around, chasing everything.
Yeah.
In some respects, Paddy Madden used to do that as well. Run around, chase everything, and just to have a player like that doing all the work, getting into people's faces is great to see, and I'm sure that the players appreciate it as well.
Right, guys, let's finish off then with a prediction.
Yeah.
A score prediction.
Okay, I'm going to go 2-0, clean sheet, 2-0. Yeah.
Paddy Madden?
Maybe not this weekend. Not for us anyway.
No. Who are you going for?
Who am I going to go for? Oh, bloody hellfire. Let's go for Westbrook.
Ooh,
I know. And Boyce.
Ooh, big bad Boyce with his boxing celebration.
A celebrity birthday treat for him.
Yeah.
Get a goal. So, yeah.
Bit of shadowboxing on the corner flag when he scores.
Yeah.
I'll chuck in 2-1 Iron, and I'll go for Dec Howe and Joe Starbuck as my goal scorers. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Iron Hour podcast. A huge thank you once again to our sponsors. That's Best Blanks Wholesale, Hole in the Wand, AC Videography and Photography, and of course, No Film. Huge thank you to our partners, TalkSport. Thanks for listening to the Iron Hour podcast. We'll see you next time. Up the Iron.